Hello out there in video land. My name is Paul Kalamir, and hello out there in Radio Land. We're going to get Radio Land going here. Hello, Radio Land. How are you? Everything's good? Okay, good. We're ready to roll with my co-host, John Fillion.
Bonjour, mon ami. Comment vas-tu aujourd'hui?
Oh, très bien, très bien. It's been a very meatloaf week for me.
Well, that's excellent. So you've been fed well.
I've been looking at the games and saying 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's a meatloaf to me.
That's great.
So listen, this is Habsolutely. In case you're wondering, you should know that by now. Look at us. Look at us. We're here every week, Habsolutely. And we are coming from the studios of 4680Q in the studios here in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, right across from the Meteor Crater. You can't miss it. If you're ever in Niagara Falls, take a tour of the Meteor Crater. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, and make sure you check out the Flying Saucer.
The Flying Saucer on Lundy's. That's right, on Lundy's Lane.
Yeah, it's been here since 1964 or something like that.
Do they have poutine?
Poutine.
Yes.
The Flying Saucer?
Yes.
Mais oui.
Mais oui. Is that thing crooked or is it just me?
It could be slightly askew.
Doesn't that look askew?
Could be slightly askew.
Let me see. Maybe I could fix it here. It looks to me like it's askew.
That's much better.
Is that much better? Yeah, that's not so askew. I was feeling like I was leaning. I had a
Matt Leskew.
10-2 lean going on.
You're looking a bit like Matt Leskew.
Yeah, I had the 10-2 lean, like a good night over the river. That's what it felt like for a little while. Anyway, what a week, John. We've been down and out, and in Bon
Semaine.
I actually had my mascot. Who's that goofball?
Hab? You have your mascot?
Yeah, that wasn't a Habs fan.
No.
I had my mascot. I was going to wear in because I really thought we were going to lose 3 in a row, and I was going to wear my mask.
Is that the one you wear every night when you go to bed?
That's right. My facial mask. To keep
or is that when you go to wrestling that you wear that mask?
Well, I wear that too in Lucha Libre when I fought Lucha Libre years ago. But, I have nothing to wear a mask about. I'm very proud of the team right now. We played 3 games. The first one I expected to lose against Minnesota, but I also expected to lose against the other 2 games, which were... Who were they? We had Edmonton Oilers.
We played Columbus Blue Jackets.
The Columbus Blue Jackets.
On Saturday. And the Oilers on Prime Video.
Yes.
On Monday night, Prime Video.
And we took them out, right?
C'est oui.
C'est oui. So I can't be sad about this. This is a great week for us. And, John, I was saying to you when we came in the studio here, you kept saying that your expectation is that our captain, Nick Suzuki, would have a chat with the boys and say, listen, boys, you're making, this is giving Marty gray hair more than they already had. We've got to step this game up and have a little chat with them just to get them going. And I said to you before, maybe he had that chat.
He may have, and it may be that the bag skate is starting to sink in.
Yeah, well, eventually they'll get tired of that too, right?
Absolutely.
Like what hurts more, losing or the bag skate? Maybe the bag skate.
I think so.
But I'm happy to see that they're back on track. They seem to have got their mojo back. They are playing 60 minutes a game. They're not letting a game get out of hand or get out of control. And Sammy has all of a sudden, he must have adjusted his jockstrap or something because he's playing like he played the first game against Toronto Maple Leafs. And that's what we need.
Now, that was the 20th game. Is that correct?
The 20th game will be Saturday against Vegas.
So the 19th game.
Okay. The 19th game.
So you got a shutout in the first and the 19th.
That's right. That's right. And what's funny? Online, a lot of people were saying, oh, great, it was Sammy's first shutout. They forgot about us shutting out the Maple Leafs 19 games ago, the very first game of the season.
It seems that long ago.
Well, it has been.
And it seems like we didn't have, we all have very short memories, all of us. And so, at the beginning of the season, first 2-3 games, we were like, everybody's like, oh boy, here we go. Buckle down. We're going to make the playoffs. And then, 10, 12 games in, everybody's like, what is going on? This team is going backwards. Marty St. Louis, Halloween's coming. Let's burn a witch.
When it falls, it really falls. It really falls apart.
And now all of a sudden, it's like we're back in the saddle again.
It's hard to tell after one or two good games. But to me, it's not so much they won. I care about them winning. But what's more important is how they won. I didn't like how they won against the Maple Leafs the first game. 48 shots. Sammy stood on and said, yeah, we won 1-0, but I didn't like that game.
Have you got the shots on goal for the last couple of games? Do you have them there or not?
I don't have them on my sheet.
I know
they're around 30 shots the last game.
We were outshot at the end of the second period on Monday night, like 21-16, something like that. 21 might have been 21-13. And I think we were kind of outshot as well in the Columbus game. So I'll go back and take a look in a second.
Yeah.
But there are still things that we need to improve on. But I think the biggest change in our game is communication.
Okay.
But I don't want to go too much into that right now because I like communicating with you at this particular time in the show as we do Habs trivia.
Oh, this is a good one.
They're all good.
This is a good one.
They're all good.
Because it's about one of our favorite players.
The Rocket Richard?
Absolutely.
How about that?
Okay, so let's get into the trivia. But before we do that, I'm just going to talk about the Evil 8 that I talked about the Evil 8,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And it's over now.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. But the Evil 8 didn't turn out to be that evil, to be honest with you. We finally broke the 6-game losing streak with an AHL-worthy slobber knocker against Buffalo. But here's the most important part. We're moving into what I call
the slippery 7.
No, the 11. I'm calling it the 11. Right.
The 11.
The 11.
The Ocean's 11?
I could call it Ocean's 11.
I call it. Ocean's 11, right?
Ocean's 11. But there's 11 games that we have in the next little while, running into, I think, January.
Christmas?
And I don't know why I don't have it written down here, because I'm pretty sure I wrote it down. But it doesn't matter. I'm going to call it the, hold it, let's see. Lucky 11.
Lucky 11.
I'm calling it the Lucky 11 because
Ocean's 11, they work like casino guys. Right?
That's right. Now there's 11 games that we play, 5 at home and 6 on the road. And if we can work those 11 games in the next 20 now, because I'm looking at the season in 20s, and if we can work those 11 and really do well in them, I think we really have a shot at making making a wild card. I really do. Remember last year I said we had the Dirty Dozen?
Yes.
And those are the games we had to get through, and we failed miserably, and we ended up in 20th. Well, now we got the Lucky 11, and if we can get through them, I think we have a shot at a real true shot at a wild card.
Do we still have a Dirty Dozen coming?
No.
Oh, so there's no Dirty Dozen.
There's no Dirty Dozen. Now it's the Lucky 11, and it's going to run through from now until the beginning of January. It's in the next 20 games. So we'll talk about that. But let's get over to Habs trivia.
Yes.
Okay. So in the 1998-99 season,
1998-99,
a new trophy was donated by the Habs to honor the leading goal scorer in the NHL for their season.
Yeah, it was a goal scoring trophy rather than most points.
Yes.
I guess, right?
Yes. The Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy is what it was called. And there have been many winners over the years since 1998-99 season. But the question is, what Habs players have won this trophy? And I'm going to give you 4 players.
Are you going to tell me how many have won it?
No. I'm going to give you 4 players. You can tell me which one has won it. Or which 2 has won it.
Okay.
Stéphane Richer.
Stéphane Richer could put the puck in the net.
He was a good goal scorer. He got 50 one year, I think.
Yeah, he was excellent goal scorer.
Martin Ruzinski.
Who?
Marty Rosinski. Don't you remember him?
No, actually,
He was a good goal scorer, too. Okay. Yeah. Max Pacioretty.
Pacioretty put the puck in the net.
He could put the puck in the net. And Richard Zednik.
It's a name from the past as well.
Yeah, Richard Zednik. He was another guy, Zed.
Well, I'm going to go with number one. What was his name again?
Stéphane Richer.
Yeah, Stéphane Richer. Pacioretty might have done it too, but I gotta place my bet with Stéphane Richer.
Now I know that the people out there in the audience viewing this are going to be laughing.
Okay,
they're going to be laughing at this question because they know it's a trick question.
Oh,
they know it.
It's a trick question.
Yeah, they're looking at the screen right now.
And they're going
this video,
and they're going. None of these people have ever won the trophy.
Bingo. And, they're going to be looking going, this guy's crazy. None of those guys won it. And no Habs has ever won it since it came into existence. And I'm going, yeah, that's the right answer.
How sad is that?
It's a trick question. And the viewers, like I say, might have got it. But no Hab has ever won the trophy named after their hero, Maurice Rocky Richard.
Well, could that change?
Well, we had a guy that was pushing for it this year, right? Cole Caulfield, he had 12 goals. He was in the lead for it.
He still does, right?
No, well, we'll talk about that. But no,
is Ovechkin still playing hockey?
Ovechkin hurt his leg last game, but he's got 15 goals.
That's right.
He's leading the Rocket Richard trophy.
That's what I'm saying. I think Ovechkin could be. He's definitely on ice.
And do you know how many times he's won the Rocket Richard trophy?
I would say Ovechkin has won the trophy, I'm going to say 3 times.
Well, if you were working in triads, that would be one triad.
He's won it 9 times?
9 times.
Unbelievable.
OV. And that's why he's breaking
the record. He's gonna beat some dude who had 2 9s on his back.
And he had a run of 7 times in 8 years.
Ovechkin really may be the best hockey player ever in the NHL.
Well, you have to say that. I mean, especially if he jumps Gretzky. And he's playing at a different time than Gretzky played, too.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit tougher now. Goalies are bigger. The equipment was bigger there for a lot of years. Now it's a little bit smaller than it used to be. And just more skilled players. But then on the other hand, the league has been a little bit watered down because, there's so many players now compared to, when Gretzky played with maybe, 12 teams or 16 teams.
Yeah, but Gretzky came in during the WHA merger, really.
Yes.
Right? And so if that wasn't watering down the NHL, I don't know what was.
Well, yeah, you got a point there.
Okay.
So anyway, it was a trick question. The first winner was Teemu Selanne.
Wow.
Of the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. The Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. With a 47-goal performance that year. Now, there's no tiebreakers for the trophy. So it's whoever scores the most. If there's 2 guys, they share the trophy.
Gotcha. Did Matthews win it ever?
Austin Matthews?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to him.
Okay.
So in 2003, 2004, there were 3 winners that year at 41 goals.
41? You shouldn't even be able to win that trophy with only 41 goals.
They had the most, and there were 3 of them. Rick Nash.
Right.
Ilya Kovalchuk. And Jerome Iginla. They were the 3 that shared that
41
year.
goals. That's a sad season.
And it's happened again in 2019 when OV and Pasternak from Boston tied with 48 goals. But that was the year all the season ended early.
Right.
Because of the COVID hoax. So they had to say...
When was the COVID hoax?
It was 2000.
Was that in 1918?
19 and 20. 2019 and 2020. No, that was the Spanish flu you're thinking of. They didn't end the season for that. They only killed 10 million people. They didn't end the season. They ended it for the COVID hoax. And they tied at 48 goals. Ovechkin, and Pasternak from Boston. There have been many multiple winners. Pavel Bure won 2.
Great hockey player. Pavel Bure, I mean, boy, between the blue lines, look out.
The Russian Rocket.
He was a force. And he got hurt too, right? I mean, His career kind of ended prematurely.
Yeah, wasn't he dating that Sharapova, the tennis player or something? Wasn't he?
I don't know, but he was Burry was on Vancouver, I believe, right?
He was. Didn't he go to Florida?
And then he got traded. Yeah,
I think he went to Florida.
I remember going to see him.
Vancouver.
I remember going just to see him play once.
Yeah, the Russian Rocket.
Because he was
phenomenal player. Jerome McGinley won too.
Excellent.
Yeah, Jerome, good hockey player. We see his son in the NHL now.
Solid player.
Yeah, his son is in the NHL right now. Ovechkin 9 times, including a run of 7 times in 8 years.
That's truly amazing.
And you know who broke the string? His nemesis.
He has a nemesis?
Yeah, Sidney Crosby.
Oh.
Yeah, he broke the string of, he would have had 8 years in a row. Sidney broke it in the 1 year. And he won 2 Rocket Richard trophies himself, Sidney Crosby.
Good for Sid.
And of course, we're going to talk about the dominant player today who's won the last 4 Rocket Richard trophies, Austin Matthews.
Wow, he has it. He's won the last 4.
And he won it in the one season, 41 goals in a COVID-shortened 2021 season, followed by seasons of 60, 64, and last season, 69 goals.
So when you get the Rocket Richard trophy, do they hand it to you at like a Hockey Hall of Fame dinner? Or do you get it, when do you get the trophy?
I don't know. I would say at the award ceremony. That's probably when you get it. Yeah. I would say that would be at the award ceremony. Don't they usually have that in like after the season's over? Before
probably during maybe the Cup final. I don't know.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. I saw it in Las Vegas one year. That was the year when Carey Price cleaned up with the Hart and the Vezina and the whatever 2. He won 4, I think, that year.
Well deserved.
Yep. Well. He won them. But it would have been better if there was a Stanley Cup sitting behind all those trophies.
And that's what Austin Matthews is saying.
Yes, you got that right.
And he'll be saying that for a long time.
And as crazy as this sounds, at 39 years old, Ovi is leading the league right now with 15 goals. Is inching his way towards breaking Gretzky's record of 894 goals. He needs 27 more to break the record. And as of Tuesday's 2-goal performance, like you say, he's got 15 on the year, but bad news, he injured his leg and he's out right now.
I think he got like 5 goals in the last 2 games.
Yeah, he's been
hotter than a pistol.
Hot shot. But he's out now. And it's like week to week.
Yeah.
So hopefully he gets back and breaks that record. I'd like to see him do it.
You know what? I want to see Ovechkin be the number 1 goal scorer in the NHL.
Yeah, and this guy isn't a 20-pound weakling. This guy's 6'3" and 235 pounds.
He's a force.
He's a beast.
He's a force.
Like, you don't want to mess with Ovechkin. He's a beast.
He's in the Mario Lemieux school.
Yeah, he really is, man. A big guy, and he throws his weight around. He likes to throw his weight around.
I'll tell you.
I like to see him throw his weight around.
I would have loved to seen Ovechkin come to Montreal maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
That would have been sweet. And
Ovechkin reminds me of the Rocket more than any other player in the NHL currently.
Yeah.
So serious kudos to Ovechkin.
He gets that focus like the Rocket used to. Gets that focus in his eyes.
Those eyes.
Yeah, those eyes, So congrats to all the players who have won the trophy, named after the greatest player of all time in the NHL, Maurice Rocket Richard.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. I've been thinking of the Rocket today and over the past few days because tragically we lost maybe, I dare say, one of the best hockey players from Niagara Falls has passed away in the past week.
I must have missed it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
His name and he had that. If you looked into his eyes, he had that Rocket Richard Ovechkin glare.
Okay.
And his name was Fred Bassey.
Yeah, Fred Bassey. Oh yeah, I saw that. For sure.
And Fred Bassey,
he was a great guy.
Was not only a great guy, but a great hockey player, as well as a great coach.
Yeah, he played for Boston University or Boston College. He played for Niagara College.
He played for Boston University.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't he play for Niagara College?
He was the coach
of Niagara
College.
Whoop doom.
If it wasn't for Fred Bassey,
yeah,
I might not be sitting here today with you. So back in
He saved your life?
back in
He
19
saved your life?
well, you didn't either.
No, I
so
didn't save your
wait
life,
a
no.
second here. So back in 1973, I started to go to Niagara College. And I wanted to get into the music business, and so I started taking a course for a business degree. And my locker happened to be right by the gym at Niagara College. So I spent a lot of time hanging around in the gym, shooting hoops, playing floor hockey, and of course, there was Fred Bassey, who looked like Jim Croce to me. Fred was an excellent guy. You could go and talk to him about anything, and he had an opinion on anything, but he was also a humble guy too. Like, he never told you about anything about his hockey career or anything like that. So having left the University of Waterloo, going to Niagara College, it was kind of like going backwards in a sense. It was kind of like a trip back towards high school. So I had a little bit more time on my hands as far as not having to study so hard. And so I took advantage of that, and I started to play ice hockey to a larger degree. And back then, in '73, I was playing like in a young man's hockey league. I started playing a pickup game with you on Thursday nights here at the Niagara Falls Arena. And the following year in 1974, my second semester at Niagara College, I was informed that the hockey team needed some goaltenders. So I thought, I'm going to go out for the team. What have I got to lose, right? What have I got to lose? So I went out for the team, and as it turned out, we had one starting goalie. We had another guy who could easily have been on the team, but had jaundice and actually lost over half a year of his life being at home, trying to fight that off. We had another goaltender who was a biker kind of dude, and he was more like, Fred, if I'm not playing every game, I'm not going to be on the team. And so that's not really the attitude Fred Bassey was ever looking for.
No.
I got to be the backup goalie for the Niagara College team in 1974. And as I told Fred's wife recently, I said, I wasn't really good enough to be on the team, but Fred was good enough to have me on his team. And it was like my trip to the NHL. That's how I like to think about it. It was like I was playing hockey like 6 nights a week. I was like, changing, my physique was changing, everything about it. I was getting to be a better hockey player. It was really a fantastic time for me. Fred never told me what he did in hockey. I mean, he was an All-American at Boston University. From his hockey career lasted from 64 to 70. As a junior, he led his team in scoring. He was the second overall in the nation with 64 points in 1966, in 1965. So he was like the best hockey player on Boston, and he was the second best hockey player overall in the University League.
In America. It's like the Hobie Baker type
But
of guy.
you see, here in Hockeyville, Canada, we didn't really acknowledge what was going on in university hockey.
Not in those days.
We only thought about the Ontario Hockey League.
OHA?
OHL. Right, OHA.
OHA,
and that was the big thing. Yeah. So we had guys here like Sanderson playing in Niagara Falls, and Bobby Orr's playing in Oshawa, and all these players, but Fred Bassey is lighting it up to 2 to 3 points a game in America in the college leagues, and nobody even knows about it.
It's amazing, huh?
It's truly amazing.
Crazy.
In 1966, Fred got into a kerfuffle with a player on the ice, and he knocked a Harvard player out with one punch.
I believe it. Fred was a tough guy. He was built like a tank.
And after that, people kind of stayed away from Fred. But that's why he reminds me so much of the Rocket, because he could put the puck in the net and he could take you out.
And those same dark eyes.
Exactly. Just like Ovechkin. And he could take you out. In 1970, that's when he joined Niagara College. He was there at the college for 30 years. He was the head coach for 24 of those years. In that league, which was called the International Collegiate Hockey League, he won 5 gold medals for the team, 4 silver, and 5 bronze.
Amazing.
And they won 1 silver in the OCAA, the entire college or university hockey league. And he was coach of the year for 3 times.
Yeah, amazing.
Truly amazing. The year that I played hockey for Freddie, we didn't win a game. Think about that.
You didn't win one game?
We were losing games
Were
like
you in goal all the time?
No, I wasn't even in goal. If I had been in goal, it would have been even worse. I don't know, they might have counted it as 2 losses instead of 1.
So hold it now. So why wouldn't you be here if it wasn't for Freddie Bassi?
Well, what happened was I had a game in Windsor. Well, first of all, that was my love of hockey, right? That became my passion, rekindled. My interest in hockey changed to a different level because, I mean, I'd be sitting here and I'd be talking about ice hockey and I'd be like, yeah, well, I just played road hockey. But I got to play ice hockey, and actually, like I say, I was playing easily 10 hours a week of ice hockey.
That's more than we're used to. That's for sure.
That definitely changed my whole outlook of the game.
Oh, right on.
Okay. From a technical standpoint, development of plays, all that type of stuff. And that's why it's easier to come in here and speak to what was going on in the dressing room. Can you imagine that in 1971, one of our friends from Stanford Collegiate, John Dick, he was playing goal for Fred at the time.
Yeah.
We were up in Waterloo. The story goes that between second and third period, John Dick came into the dressing room. And that's when Niagara College were going through some bad times with hockey, not because of Fred, but because they didn't have a huge school, and they didn't have the wealth of talent to draw from the student body to ice a great hockey team. And so John came into the dressing room. He goes, "These guys, they're not backing me up, Fred. They're not blocking shots. They're not doing this. They're not doing that." He went on a rant. Fred looked at him and was like, you don't own my dressing room. You don't talk about my team like that. And Fred hauled off and knocked John Dick out.
I was going to say,
between periods.
Fred didn't clock him one.
Between periods. They had to revive Dick with smelling salts, and he played the third period.
Sounds like Fred. I went to public school with Fred. He was ahead of me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, at St. Mary's School, right?
Right.
He was ahead of me.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm not, man, we're going back a long time now. But I think he lived on Stevens Street, right by where I live.
Fred would have been about 7 years to 8 years older than you.
Yeah, so he was probably in the higher grades when I was in the lower grades.
Yeah, he had a brother as well. But Freddie, like I say,
he's a great guy. Great guy. Nice guy, gentleman.
Fabulous person. I mean, and again, because I was playing hockey back in 1974, we were doing road trips, and we had a Saturday coming up where it was actually 50 years ago, November 23rd was coming up, and we had a hockey game in Windsor. And I wanted to get a record that was on sale that morning at Sam the Record Man here on Queen Street. And so I went down to the store on Friday night and said, "Hey, give me the Saturday morning special early. I'm not going to be around. I got to go play hockey, yada, yada, yada." And I got to talking with the guys, told them that I was taking business, wanted to be in the music industry. And after about 90 minutes, they offered me a job. And so I quit the college. I left Fred's team, and I started working on Queen Street, 2 blocks away from you.
Yeah, and the rest is history.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. Well, it's not like we just met then, by the way. We went through high school together cheering for the Habs. So we've been friends a long time.
But
interesting story about Fred. Great guy.
Yeah, great guy. And like I say, here's a guy who became a coach. And at one point, I'm sure people are going, "Can this guy really coach? His teams are losing every game." But at one point in the 90s, the team became super successful. And Fred was acknowledged for being a good coach.
that like Marty St. Louis?
Boy, I love the way you see. It's like you're reading my mind. Is that because we worked on Queen Street?
I don't know.
Is it because we went to high school together?
Could be.
I don't know. Is it because we love the Montreal Canadiens so much?
Well, absolutely.
So, exactly. I mean, we've all got to, as Montreal fans, we've all got to be a little patient with MSL and let this team develop. Just like Niagara College didn't have that pool of talent, neither do the Habs have that overall pool of talent. Yet. That's the operative word. Yet. Because if you were watching TSN the last 24 hours, they talked about the over-under 24 talent. And of all 32 teams in the NHL, they picked the Montreal Canadiens. They keep the Canadiens as being the numero team to have the best talent.
Pool of talent.
Yes. And specifically Caulfield, Demidov, Hudson, and Slavkovsky.
Yeah, and you know it's showing. It's starting to show.
It's starting to show. I mean, Demidov isn't even with the team.
Nope.
Demidov is 18. I believe Cole is 23, and the other two are 20.
Yep.
So, c'est magnifique.
We've been talking about this for a couple of years now, and getting all excited about it. We haven't had the results, but now we're starting to see it. I mean, we did lose to Minnesota. If we go to the games, we lost 3-0, and it was that game. It worked out about what I thought.
I mean, you expected that to happen. That. Minnesota has a very, very good hockey club.
But we talk about games like Toronto. I wasn't impressed with that game. But when you see the Minnesota game, we didn't have a lot of shots, 19 shots. That bodes bad for a team. 19 shots. We had 2 shots in the first period. And then somebody said, well, Minnesota only had 4. That was our period to take advantage of them only having 4, and we didn't. We had 2. So that upset me. But Sammy laid down a great 9:26, and I'm going, it's pretty darn good for losing 3-0.
You must have had some shots.
Yeah, usually a 9:26, if the goaltender can give you that with a couple of goals, you usually win.
Obviously, we got outshot. We got outplayed against Minnesota.
Yeah, we did. So that's all right. And we're under 50% of the face-off circle, too. So I'm going 3-0. Okay, well, then the next game was the one that I was thinking, this is our chance to win. Now, after seeing their performance in the last 7 or 8 games, I'm going, man, are we going to beat Columbus? Because that was our opportunity that I thought we had. But I said, I think they're going to lose. Like, just the way they've been playing, how are they going to beat anybody? So I marked it as a loss.
You were a little down on the team last week.
I was down on the team. And you were saying we're going to win every game. So, like usual, you call the win. So you were right. Not only did we win against this bum team, we won 5-1. Now, granted, they had played the night before. So they're without Johnny Gaudreau. And I don't know. For some reason I thought this game was going to be in Columbus. So I thought Caulfield gets his 13th. I remember you were saying that, yeah. But it wasn't. It was at home, but Caulfield never got his 13th anyway.
But I think Caulfield got 2 assists.
Yeah, he got 2 assists that game. But even more important was the Habs doing things right again, honoring Shea Weber.
Oh, well, they always
do that well. Right. Shea Weber, Hockey Hall of Fame that Monday night. And there they are, honoring him, and they did him proud with a 5-1 win. I was happy.
Absolutely.
Sammy was on the rebound, and he played a 9.62 after dropping a 9.26. So, I mean, there's 2 good games. And with everyone chipping in, Matheson, Suzuki, Kandata got one, his first of the season.
Really nice, very nice goal.
And, Evans and Anderson. Even Anderson got one, which is a rarity in this day and age.
But like, what were those names again? Evans, Anderson, Kandata,
Suzuki, Matheson.
Guys you're not hearing about constantly.
Yep. No, they chipped in for a 5-1 win, and Caulfield did manage, like you said, a couple of assists.
And that's important. I think that's really important, is Cole Caulfield's assists.
And what's more important, we led every stat: face-offs, power play goals, hits, and shots, a complete game, for the big win. And I'm going, man, oh man, like I know it's against Columbus and they played the night before and blah, blah, blah. But geez, we can replicate this the next game against the Oilers, which, I mean, I never thought they were going to beat the Oilers. Maybe we got a shot, although I wasn't expecting a shot. So we move on to the Oilers game, unless you have some comments for
the only thing I'll say about Cole that game was, I think on the Condotted goal, if I'm not mistaken, he made a check in the ozone.
Okay.
Grabbed the puck and threw it either over to Matheson or Condotta, and we had a goal.
Well,
and that's something we didn't see Cole doing the first year he was up. That's something I think, as you've spoken to, that MSL has been working on with him over the last year. And now it's starting to become kind of just like it just there. It's always going to happen. It's common now. But that is so important to recognize because that changes things so much.
Well, I'm not a big fan of one-trick ponies. And, Cole had 12 goals, but 1 assist or something,
Correct.
So I'm glad that to see he's actually being a playmaker too. Because you're hoping that if he gets 40 goals, he'll have 30 assists or so. We're hoping he's going to get 80 points. So, because as much as he is a goal scorer, and we like to give him the puck to put it in the net, there's times when he has to also set up other people because he doesn't have the opportunity. So
exactly. It's about having that vision to see where to put the puck. It's having that puck sense. It's great if you're scoring a goal, but if you're the only one scoring and the game, you lose the game 3-1, 4-1, whatever, it's not so good. But if you can help set somebody up, and not only by, now you're like 2-1, now you start to bring in Mo. Mo starts to play for you.
Yeah.
Momentum.
Mojo.
Momentum. You start swinging the momentum to your team rather than you always playing from behind. And you put your opponent in that position that they're starting to question what they're doing.
And I've got to wonder if maybe, just maybe, that a guy like Lane Hudson, with his innovative play, he's always, doing things. Lane Hudson always doing things. He don't stand still. He's always doing things. He's great at moving the puck. And you got to wonder if it's maybe not rubbing off on some of these guys where they're looking around and they're a little bit more aware, like Lane Hudson is all the time. And this guy's, kind of helping them be more like him, which would be fantastic for everybody on the team.
Not only that, but Lane Hudson also is starting to communicate. So when he's on a shift and he's trying to make a play and it goes off the rail a bit, as he's coming back now, he's letting the other D-man know where he's headed.
Yeah.
So that 2 of them aren't going to the same spot. And I picked that up, I think, in the Edmonton game. And it was like, yeah, I hadn't seen that before. That you're telling, I think it was Savard, hey, this is where I'm going to be, or this is where I'm headed. You go there.
Exactly.
And now there's and the more that this team starts to communicate their intention on the ice, that's when you're going to start to see more success too, with them playing the strategy of MSL.
And speaking of the Oilers game, to me, that game was the most complete game and the best game of the year for Montreal Canadiens. We went and took the Oilers, which are a phenomenal team. And if I'm not mistaken, they went to the Stanley Cup final last year.
They did indeed.
They did indeed. And I thought it was going to be a loss. And man, oh man, they delivered what I consider the best game of the year so far with a full 60-minute effort. And Sammy shutting the door saying, "Not tonight, Connor. No, not tonight."
Sammy played a very solid game, and he had a lot of help.
He did, and one guy that you got to go like this to. Gallagher got his 8th of the year.
Yes, and how did Gallagher get that goal?
Standing in front of the net, battling it out, and tipped it. I think.
Absolutely, but it was on a line shift, so our buddy Cole. You know what? I love, like, Cole came from the college leagues. He came from college, like, Fred Bassey. And in college, I think you're a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Responsible. Okay? And so Cole, knows he's generally the first guy off the shift. He's like, I'm bagged. I don't want to get caught out. I'm 45 seconds in or whatever. I'm headed for a line change. And so Cole headed to the bench as the puck shifted in momentum. Suzuki and Slavkovsky took the puck up the ice, and Gallagher came out. Gallagher went right to the front of the net, basically in between the circles. He looked around. He put his ass basically in the goalie's face, and he communicated to Matheson, I believe. He said, "I'm here. Give me the puck. Shoot the puck towards me. I'm going to deflect it." And that's exactly what happened. So again, communication between players. No, Cofield's not out. I'm out. I'm Gallagher, and I'm here in front of the net. Don't be looking over in the corner for Cole. I'm here in front of the net. Shoot the puck at the net. That is so important. That's the type of stuff that I got to learn playing hockey with Fred Bassey.
And Gooley and Evans did the honors in the win with Gallagher. And a frustrated McDavid was left off the scoreboard by the motivated Habs, matching the longest winning streak of the season.
And think about that, too. I mean, Evans, he got basically, I think, an empty net goal.
Yep.
But he's been playing his heart out.
Yeah, he always does.
Every game, he is over 100%. And Gooley, great to hear Gooley's name out there. Fabulous.
Yeah, Gooley the goalie. I like to call him. I wish he was a goalie. I always wanted him to be a goalie because then I could call him Gooley the goalie.
And Gooley's goal was created by a guy named Cole Caulfield.
There you go.
Who had a check again in the O-zone.
See that?
The team is maturing.
Yep, he's not scoring, but he's sure out there playing his heart out.
The team is maturing. So to see Cole actually checking people in the O-zone, grabbing the puck, really seeing the opportunity now and stepping up. It's not so bad when the defensemen are stepping up, when people know what they're doing and they're looking for them and passing them the puck. And the opportunity is the right one. They're not forcing it. It's fluid. It's great. It's great transition.
And
now, I mean, again, we're talking here about 3 games. And the last 2 were over the top about. This team is still young. We know that. We also know that they've been picked by TSN as being the number 1 under 24 team, which is great. We know we have other players to look forward to who are going to come up. Honorable mention goes out to Jacob Fowler, who is standing on his head at, I believe, Boston University.
Yeah, Boston
College. He's at Boston College.
They're over there.
And as I go back to, and of course, our friend Lane Hudson, he came from a place called Boston University as well. The same place that 50 years ago, a guy named Fred Bassey was playing hockey at.
Yeah, too bad Fred didn't play for Montreal. That would have been the ultimate connection right there.
Fred Bassey, sadly, was never drafted by anyone in the NHL.
Today he would have been, and Hughes would have been probably the guy to draft.
Absolutely. Can you imagine that? That's how hockey has changed so much. There was no respect for players playing college hockey in the United States.
Not at all.
Now it can mean like Cole Caulfield, Lane Hudson, Jacob Fowler. Look out.
Look out. So our next 2 games, we only have 2 games this week. We don't play until Saturday, and we play Vegas at home. And then we play Utah at home.
So Vegas are in Toronto tonight.
Toronto.
I don't know if they're playing Ottawa next.
Could be.
And then they're playing Montreal, or they're going to play Montreal and then Ottawa. I should check that out.
I'm not sure, but we're playing them at home on Saturday. Our next game is no Saturday. We got a nice little rest here. So,
but it's interesting. Like, we're starting to play a lot of teams that play first in Toronto, or they play first in Montreal, and then they play in Toronto. We're seeing these swings change.
Yeah, when they come out east from out west, right?
Right. And I think we're seeing these changes.
There's changes right there.
Absolutely.
Were they guys or girls?
Oh, I think they were femme fatales.
I don't know.
And
that's pretty weird.
I think what's going on is that the NHL is consciously scheduling games to be more conscious about travel and try to be a little more green orientated.
Yeah, well, they do have the swings, and when they have the swings, they're going to play Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa because we're right in the same corridor.
But we're seeing it more and more now than we did in the past.
Maybe they got it planned.
I think everybody's going to try to be a more conscious league in every sport in regards to green activities.
Yeah, no, that's good. Not that I care, because we see everybody yelling about green, flying in their private jets to go everywhere. A bunch of phonies. But that's another story.
Oh,
that's for my show on Thursday. So our Vegas is the last of the 20, the first 20. Oh man, they played so good, Montreal, the last few. If they could put a game on the ice like that, I think they could beat Vegas at home in Montreal.
Well, this is a big test.
This is a big test. What do you think is going to happen in that game?
I don't really know, to be honest with you, because I can't wait to see. I mean, we won on Monday night, and now we have the stretch of time off. Is that going to be a good thing for the team? Is that going to be a bad thing for the team?
Well, I saw Gooley going off holding his arm that night.
Yeah, he got hit.
Yeah, he got hit.
But he came back and played.
He came back and played.
Scored.
And maybe this is a good thing that Marty can get him on the ice and work on a couple things. We have 3 or 4 days.
And there's a guy named Lanny who's starting to look, I hear, pretty good in practice.
Well, he's going to be skating with the team on the ice. I think he's probably under the no-hit order, but the what do you call that? The black sweater or something, the blue ribbon, something.
I wonder if Lanny will start skating in a warm-up.
Yeah, well, I think you're going to see Lonnie in the next few weeks come back. He seems to be making tremendous progress, and he must be working at it. I haven't heard what he's doing, but he must be working on that leg.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
And
I can't wait.
It'll change the whole dynamic.
So, I mean, like I say, we went through this period. Cole Caulfield, Lane Hudson, Brendan Gallagher, Jake Evans, Anderson, Armia, all these players, Heineman, they were all playing extremely well over the last 2 to 3 games.
Excellent. 60 minutes.
But the only and who somebody else got a goal. Who's the center for that line with Gallagher and Anderson?
Evans?
No, somebody else. Dvorak as well played a good hockey. And they're killing penalties as well. We killed a lot of penalties those last 2 games. But I'm not hearing the name of the second line.
So can we beat Vegas, do you think?
I'm not hearing the name of the second line.
So we can't beat Vegas.
We can.
Okay.
If I start hearing the name of that second line. I want to hear names from that second line.
Newhook.
Yeah. I want to hear Newhook, Kirby Doc. I want to hear Kirby Doc's name more. I think what's going to happen is a guy named Lanny is going to come back and he's going to turn that second line on. And I think
it can't hurt.
And it's not going to hurt. It's going to jolt.
Yep.
And I think that's where we're really going to get that jolt. And then we're going to start playing hockey.
So we're going to beat Vegas?
Yes, of course we're going to beat Vegas.
John's giving us a win. I'm giving us a loss with a question mark, because the reason I put a question mark is because if they give us the last 2 games, especially the one against Edmonton, we have a great shot at beating Vegas. And the next game is Utah, and I think we can beat Utah.
Utah? Wait a second. Utah?
The Utah Speeds.
Aren't they a basketball team, Utah?
Utah Jazz?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're a hockey team. The Utah Hockey Club. They came up with a good name.
Do they have a name now?
Yeah, the Utah Hockey Club. UHC. But you know what? I call them the Speedsters.
What team were they before?
They were the Arizona Humpbacks, because they were all a bunch of humps. But they're playing good hockey, but I still think Montreal can handle them at home. I really do. You think so?
Absolutely.
Okay, John says yes.
And
You guys will put all W's.
when is that game?
That's probably on
Tuesday or
probably Monday night. Well, maybe Tuesday night. Maybe Tuesday night because we had Monday night hockey last week on Amazon Prime.
This past when we beat the Edmonton Oilers.
So that might be Tuesday.
3-0.
But it might be back to back because we play Columbus too, right?
Could
That's
be.
our game on next Wednesday night is Columbus.
Columbus.
In Columbus, yes, it's an away game, and we start a 3-game away.
When are we going to see Caden Primo in the net?
Well, if that's a back-to-back, Utah and Columbus. We'll probably see him then, but I don't. I hope they don't put Primo in, and we
got to play. Monty can't play every game.
I know, but the more he's playing, the better he's getting. It could be a thing that he needs ice time. That's just the way the kid is. And they keep pulling him out, and when he goes back in, he sucks. Now he's on a roll. He's the hot goaltender, and you know about that.
I'm definitely playing him on Saturday night because he's got like 6 nights off here, 5 nights off.
Yeah.
Definitely playing him.
Yeah, so play him, and if he has a good game, throw him in again. So I would say he's going to get both those games. And now Columbus, we play back to back. If it's a Wednesday night game and we play Utah on Tuesday, I would say they'll probably put Primo in.
Let's see.
So let's say Monty, and then Monty, and then El Primo, who hasn't been playing like a primo goalie, that's for sure.
So we play Vegas on Saturday night. On Tuesday we play Utah.
Okay, Utah. So Columbus is Wednesday.
Wednesday is Columbus.
That'll be the premin.
And then we do Saturday, Sunday away.
Yes, the Rangers again in Bruins.
Ooh, and that's like American Thanksgiving. So we play Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, probably
against the Rangers.
Yep.
At 1:00, and then on Sunday we play the Bruins at 3:00.
And I'm going to predict right now a loss against the Rangers and a win against the Bruins. That's what I've got written down.
The Bruins don't have that great a record.
No, they suck. They just fired their coach yesterday. They got rid of Montgomery. They fired him, and don't be surprised.
They got rid of Chopper?
Well, Chopper Montgomery, yeah, he might be coming over to Montreal. Never mind to aid and abet MSL because he's good friends with Hughes. Very good friends
because of Boston.
And they fired him, and they got Joey Sacco behind the bench now.
Boston connection.
Yeah, so I'm saying.
Yeah, and Utah basically have the same record that Montreal has right now.
I think Montreal's going to beat them. But looking at the next 20 games, I think our season rests on two things. Happy at home, where we play 5 games at home starting with the December 3rd game, and then 6 games on the road. We start on December 23rd. I'm calling them the Lucky 11. And I want to reach 500 with this team. I'm demanding they reach 500 before December 3rd.
Before December 3rd.
Yes, when we start our 5-game homestand. Then we
go through the roof.
Then we
start to hit the ceiling.
Then we want to play 600 through this tough stretch of 11 games, 5 at home, 6 on the road. If we can do that with 3/4 of the season left, I think we have a real shot at a wild card. We need at least 500. If we can go 600, we'll jump a bunch of teams and quick.
C'est bien. C'est très bien.
That's it.
Breaking news. Montreal Canadiens forward Patrick Laine joined a team session for the first time Wednesday as he continues to recover from a knee sprain.
There you go. So I thought he was going to be back. I read he was going to be back. He is back.
So he was on the ice with the team for today's practice.
Let's see. What's the date today? Today's the 20th or something like that?
Today is the 20th.
20th. So I'd say in 10 days, probably the first week of December, just as we enter our home game extravaganza of 5 games, he's going to be on the ice.
So that's excellent news.
Excellent news.
Now,
things are definitely improving with Montreal. We see the Habs now sitting at 7-10-2 with a -17 down from a -21 last week. And I wanted to be 500 after the first 20, so we're not going to be where I wanted to be. but we're very close. We're only 3 points out of a wild card spot at this point, with the 500 Rangers sitting in the 8th spot. So you see how important reaching 500 is. And I said that at the beginning. I wanted them to be 500. If we were 500, we'd be sitting right there.
Well, I mean, look at the last.
And we're only 3 games away from that.
Over the last 3 games, we're +4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if over the last 2, we're +7.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's fabulous ground to be making up. What I want to see is more of what happened, like you say, on Monday night, where we play a complete game.
Yes.
And at the end of the night, we'll see our captain, Suzuki, go and grab a puck and give it to Samuel Montembeault for a shutout.
When?
That's exactly what he did at the very end of the game.
The Edmonton game.
The Edmonton game.
Good.
He came up, he skated up to Sammy, and he put a puck in his trapper and said, "Good game."
Somebody said he dropped the puck by accident and went in the net. Is that true?
What?
No, he played a great game. Now my commentary here is I have to give MSL credit. Through all the losses and calls for him to be fired, he stood tall with his plan, and this week's Meatloaf week, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. His plan appears to be coming to fruition. You cannot judge this team by 2 games, but I like the effort and the way they're playing with Sammy back on track.
Well, just like you can't judge the team a week ago or 2 weeks ago on 3 games, you can't judge the team this week on 2 games.
No, usually it takes the first 20, and we're seeing, I like the way we're ending off the first 20. I don't like the way we started it, but I like the way we're ending off. There seems to be a little bit of progress, and we'll see if we can hold on to that, because Vegas is going to be a real tough game. Utah, we should win. Columbus, we should win. So we may have 2 or 3 in a row here.
And we all have to realize that this rebuild is a rebuild not to like win one Stanley Cup. It's a rebuild to win multiple Stanley Cups.
To create a dynasty.
Absolutely. And that's different than being like a team where you have maybe 4 goal scorers.
Oh boy, Amber Alert, Amber.